what is the stance of the Turkish government. And I can talk a little bit about some comments I saw of Foreign Minister Davutoglu when I was in Qatar about a week and a half ago, maybe in the question and answer. But what people say and what leaders say and Turkish leaders say matter quite a lot, and what it does and how it engages both with the powers that be in countries in the Middle East and with the peoples is no simple task, and it's a challenge that the Obama administration is facing when it's trying to square how it deals with Egypt versus Bahrain. So we're kind of in it together. Third point, Libya. It's obviously sort of the hot topic of the day here in Washington, and I want to raise it because we have senior U.S. officials. The military head of our NATO command is in Ankara right now as we speak, and I don't know what they've achieved, but it was noteworthy to me in today's Zaman earlier this week. You had a prominent columnist saying that the Turkish approach has been a zigzag approach on Libya and how to deal with this. Some people in Washington would say the same thing about the Obama administration, so I think it's partially a function of a dynamic and fast-moving situation. But the fact that the Prime Minister of Turkey in Germany 3 weeks ago or so ruled out completely military intervention, was opposed to a ceasefire, was opposed to sanctions, and then, in a sense, did not support what the UN passed and raised criticisms on the eve of military intervention. But as we see, Turkish foreign policy adapts, its positions adapt, and as we saw with the Iran resolution last year, which it was against, it actually is very forcefully trying to impose it with, I think a second flight just stopped recently in terms of arms shipments and other things by Turkey. But there's a real question about how, Turkey's going to play this, because it can help shape what is this, I think, fundamental question on Libya of what is the end state and the desired end state. And Turkey, I think, plays a very important role in that. And I think there's been an extensive bilateral discussion on this. Last point, and I know I'm running over, on the U.S. sort of Turkish partnership. And the data point, 28% of Turks see the U.S. as friendly. I remember about two and a half years ago in a report former colleague Spencer Boyer and I did, I think the data from Pew was half as much. It was the Turkish public opinion at the end of the Bush administration. America was viewed less favorably, if I recall properly, than America was viewed in Pakistan, which was a real problem. And I've worked a lot in Pakistan. So on the one hand, 28% is quite low. I think people in the Obama administration who felt like they've invested a lot, including having the president go to Turkey and message to the Turkish people, would be disappointed that it hadn't increased a lot. But look, we were at a very low level already, and perhaps we're on the upswing, and I hope we continue to be on the upswing. But as Michael mentioned in his introductory remarks, on the Middle East and Turkey's role in the Middle East and U.S.-Turkish cooperation in the Middle East, I think we in Washington need to have a much more healthy and mature understanding of what it means for countries to be partners and to understand that full alignment is a dream that the full policy alignment between two countries is never attainable. That the real struggle in statecraft, particularly in the 21st century, is continuing the discussion, not falling into sort of the ideological debates that say Turkey's slipping into a different sort of sphere or zone, but really lining up and having a mature discussion on every single issue and saying, okay, we can agree on this and we'll agree to cooperate on this front. We'll disagree on this tactically. But I think it's important at this stage, especially in this time of change in the Middle East, that we, on the think tank level and then at the government-to-government level, continue to this discussion, because if the survey tells us anything, clearly Turkey has a great deal of power in the region, soft power and other means, and we need to work together in helping shape and influence the trends in the region. And you can only do that by having, I think, a continued, extended, and ongoing conversation. Thank you.